Howdy folks, welcome to episode 6 of A Runner's Tale. This one's actually got a title already. 1981, a good year. So where am I today? So I look behind me. You see it? I'm at the Humber Bridge. Why? I'm going to tell you if you shut up and listen. The year 1981, I moved to Reno. Started off pretty well, racing at Palo Alto in the Runner's World 5 miler. Did good. Anyway, Reno may be in Nevada. Well, it actually is in Nevada. But all my races that year were across the other side of the Sierra Nevadas in California. Many of them around the San Francisco Bay Area. San Jose, even San Francisco. Some in the Central Valley, Fresno, Sacramento. And you know what the San Francisco Bay Area is famous for? It's bridges. The Golden Gate Bridge, Bay Area Bridge, and there's a few others. So I thought, I'll come here. I'm not flying all the way to San Francisco just to talk to a few people. For those of you that don't know the Humber Bridge, it was for many years the world's longest single-span suspension bridge. It's a fabulous bit of engineering. British engineering at its best. Jeremy Clarkson, formerly of Top Gear, rates its number 1. The steel from it? The steel for it came from just down the road at Scunthorpe Steelworks. British design, British built. It'll probably fall down. But it's a magnificent bridge over the Humber estuary. And it's a cold, windy, grey day today. I had to wait a few hours for the rain to stop pouring down before I'd come out. Hopefully it stays clear now for the rest of the afternoon. I don't talk about beautiful sunny California and even sunnier Nevada. Well, it certainly was in 1981. I think I'm going to have to get off the Humber bank here. It is really windy, cold. I'm going to have to get down into some sheltered spots. There's a good nature reserve here as well, of course. Some reed beds, some ponds, former clay pits. Clay was used for building tiles, roof tiles, and it's been flooded. And much of it is now a nature reserve. Some of it's used for fishing. It's pretty good at times. The bittern's here, bearded tits. Up the estuary there, behind me, it's good for geese. Another wildfowl. The whole estuary is fantastic. It's one of the top ones in the country. Good for shorebirds. Lots of gulls. I'm frozen already. We've been here a few minutes. Just had a thought. Comparing this to San Francisco Bay Area. This side's San Francisco. Over there's Oakland and Berkeley. And down that way will be San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose? It's that way. Just for today, anyway. Hey, bloody cold today. It's just above freezing. One day I'll do a video without a hat and raincoat and winter woolies and wellies. A bit like San Jose or Reno, you know, sunshine, 80 degrees. Oh. Those were the days. It certainly helped a lot, you know, with training and racing, living somewhere where the sun shone, something like 360 days a year. Be warm for most of the year. Popping down to the Bay Area, San Jose in particular. Spring comes very early there. Fabulous place to race. You have to think about doing a warm-up. It's just beautifully warm. I think quite a few of you have been there. There's a big track meet in Stanford nowadays. A lot of you go. Getting some fast times. I raced there many years ago at Stanford when it was in the football stadium. I think it's about 90,000 seater or something like that. Enormous. Now you've just got a little athletic stadium. A bit different. Ooh, I'm off the bank. Getting to some shelter. Ooh, it's a lot better out of that wind. Sniff, sniff. Right, let's get on with some athletics. First race on the track was in late January. You know, track season starts very early in California. The weather's fabulous. Why not? You know, crack on with it. So, the 1500 in Fresno, in Central Valley. I think my one and only race there. I did spend a night there once later on. Got diverted from Reno. Coming back from Mexico, couldn't land at Reno, too much snow, so we got sent to Fresno for the night. So, 1500 in 350. I'm getting distracted already. Had to do it alone. Nobody to push me, just get on with it. If you want a fast time, do it yourself. It was windy as well. About 3 weeks later, another 1500 meters in Sacramento, state capital, isn't it? Did that in 3:46. Front run the whole thing. Gun to tape. It's the only way I could get it done. 2 weeks after that, I've got in my diary, I did a rather silly training run. Reno is surrounded by mountains. We've got the Sierra Nevada on the west side, the desert ranges to the east. But just to the northwest of Reno, within spitting distance, is Peavine Peak, over 8,000 feet. And I thought, well, let's go up there. And I did. I was out for 3 hours and 55 minutes. Absolutely shattered. That might have been my longest ever run. I think it definitely was my longest ever run. I put it down as 30 miles, but it could have been a lot further. Then, took a few weeks to recover. Next up, the San Jose Open, March 21st. Did another 1500, nothing special, 3:49. But an hour or two after that, I did a 5,000 meters, and I was determined to get under 14 minutes. And I did, just. 13:59.8. Front run the whole thing all by myself. But I was well chuffed. Finally got under 14 minutes. That's, sort of respectability, isn't it? But I got faster. Not far from San Jose. Silicon Valley, Palo Alto, Stanford University, one of the top universities in the world. Filthy stinking rich as well. Got their own golf course. But what did I do there? The Martin Luther King Games. It was in their football stadium, about a 90,000 capacity stadium. It was a mile race. Did it in 4:3.9. Nothing special. But just to run in such a huge stadium was quite something. Impressive. 2 weeks after that, back to San Jose proper, the Bruce Jenner Classic I wonder what that's called nowadays. Anyway, another mile race, a PB, 4 minutes and 3/10 of a second. Never ran any faster. Bugger. I think I finished third. The guy who won it, fabulous, Suleiman Niambui. Got to meet him later. Great guy. A totally awesome athlete. What a range. 800 metres up to 10,000 metres. He could win anything. And he did for many years in the States. He was based at University of Texas, El Paso, UTEP. And those guys won everything for years. Totally dominated. Wasn't fair really. They're all a lot older than the American athletes. But good experience. What came up next? About 4 weeks later, back to San Jose, one of the other stadiums, the Budweiser Invitational, another 1,500 metres, and I got a PB, finally, after years of trying, 3:43.6, and I didn't get any faster. It was a nice surprise. I led all the way, gone to tape as usual, and the guy in second place, I thought, this guy looks familiar. It was Barry Smith from Gateshead. I'd met him a couple of years earlier out on an evening run in Manchester in the dark. I generally had no competition in that part of Manchester, so when out for a run, nobody caught me up. And I saw this guy behind me and I thought, he's bloody good, he's catching me up. Turned out to be Barry Smith, he's one of Great Britain's top distance runners for many years. But what on earth was he doing in San Jose? A bit of training, but warm weather training. What came up next? Nothing for over a month. Because I did so well at San Jose, I thought, I'll do the US Championships there at Sacramento. Big stadium there. It's a regular site for them. It was only 107 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. Hotter than hell. I only got as far as the first heat. I just wasn't up to it. Got absolutely thrashed by the top American 1,500 metre guys. But I certainly looked good. I was racing in yellow. I had a fabulous tan. But I just got thrashed. My feet were absolutely burning after that race. I actually had to go stick them in the water jump. I don't know how they do it. I remember seeing the US champs there a few years ago, and it was also about 106, 107 degrees. It is too hot for us distance runners. Much too hot. The US champs in Sacramento were the end of my track season for that year. Next up, a couple of road races. What was it? Santa Cruz on the California coast. Gorgeous place. Sea lions and great white sharks and surfers and all that kind of stuff. Fabulous. It's wharf to wharf. 5.8 miles. I think they should have moved one of the wharves. Make it a proper 10k or something like that. Anyway, I was only second. Duncan MacDonald won it. American 5,000 metre record holder. I tried to win it in the first couple of miles. Silly bugger. got thrashed. A couple of weeks after that, back down to the Bay Area, to Napa, wine country. 10k, 29:37. Did it all by myself, apart from a guy in a wheelchair. Only managed to beat him on the bends. That was I was going to say that was the end of the road season for me, but I did another one in September, Walnut Creek, 10k. Finished second. Won by one of my regular training partners and I think a 5-time Olympian, Domingo Tibaduiza. Toughest guy I ever trained with in my life. Absolute animal, beast, from Colombia. I think he's back there now. He's a national coach. My God, he was tough. But we pushed each other, and it certainly paid off for me. Anyway, looking through the notes, August, September, October, November, I got consistency nailed, absolutely bang on. Made a huge difference. Just getting in the miles regularly, morning and afternoon, 5 and 10, 5 and 10, 5 and 10, long run on a Sunday. Just super consistent. I wrote down a load of figures. Started early August. These are the weekly mileage figures. 97, 98, 84, 68, 82, 102, 101, 81, 97, 109, 87, 109, 110, 111, 104, 100, 105 and 80. The only time the mileage slipped was if I was travelling to a race somewhere. No injuries, no colds, no ill health, just getting in those miles, and it paid off like you would not believe. It's hard to do, but I think once you get in the groove, just stick with it. I don't recommend that you in any way, shape or form follow what I did, but it worked for me. Find your own way, see what works. So, cross-country season started October 10th. Back to the Bay Area, Stanford University, their invitational cross-country on a golf course. They're quite a hilly course, that, but I absolutely loved running on the golf courses. They were fantastic, suited me to a T, and I won it by a long way. I do remember it being fairly hilly in places. But, it was nice, and it's probably quite warm as well. A month after that, back again to the Bay Area, this time San Francisco proper, and Golden Gate Park, wonderful park. It was for the Pacific area TAC cross-country championships. I had to think what TAC was then. It's the Athletics Congress. The Fab Park, as I said, hilly in places. It was quite muddy, and I won it by quite a long way. It was a nice warm-up for what you've all been waiting for me to talk about. Well, I hope you've been waiting for me to talk about was the TAC National Cross Country Championships in LA in late November. November 28th on the DeBell Golf Course in Burbank. I'm going to make you wait now. Now then, have I kept you waiting long enough? Are you bored yet? Tiresome, isn't it? I'm cruel, I'm horrible. Right, onwards with the story. This was a hugely important race for me. Even before I did it, I finished 8th the year before, and I wanted to come back and I wanted to win the damn thing. Didn't care who showed up, I wanted it. Training had been going well. Racing had been going well. Confidence was good. I was up for it. Fortunately, I managed to see an advert for the race in a magazine. Telephoned the organiser, so I went in. Said, yep, fine, no problem. So, what happened when I got there? My name wasn't in the programme. Well, it was, but nobody can spell it. You know, a simple 5-letter surname. R-O-Y-L-E. Nobody can get it right. Not even in Manchester, and it's a Manchester name. It was, I eventually found it. I was down as Adrian Royle, R-Y-L-E, from Nevada. So panic over. got my number, crack on with it. Race day comes, and it's pouring down with rain. Yeah, it doesn't happen in LA. You know, it's supposed to be sunshine, wall-to-wall sunshine all year long, but no, 2 or 3 inches of rain that day. Perfect. Little did I know, but I was actually quite good at running in the rain. It helps me breathe. That's important when you're running. You've got to be able to breathe. But it was a hilly course, and it was quite cold. Temperature was in the 40s Fahrenheit, which for LA is that's Arctic weather. Uphill start, quite a long uphill start. The official starter was none other than Wilt Chamberlain, top basketball player, one of the all-time greats. Huge guy. You know, even from a couple of 100 metres away, you could see the guy was massive. But we charged up that hill, and I was never what you call a fast starter. I didn't like fast starts. I was a fast finisher, but I was going for it. Got to the top of the hill, and then it started to wind down. Lots of S-bends. I think it was gravel. And I think that first mile we did it in about 4:06, something stupid like that, which, you know, is just a little slower than my PB. And kept going. They were dropping like flies though. By the time we got to maybe mile 2, I think there was only 3 of us left. Salazar, Nick Rose, myself, you know, the guy in yellow that nobody had a clue who it was. I knew, and that's all that mattered. Didn't care. I was there to win it. We dropped Nick, and it was just me and Alberto. I just stayed with him and stayed with him and stayed with him. I didn't want to get sent the wrong way. It happened before in Idaho, and I thought, no one's going to send Alberto Salazar the wrong way. I'll just stick on his shoulder and then finish him off at the end. And that's basically what I did. You know, I'd push the pace, he'd push the pace, I'd push the pace, he'd push the pace. I expected him to destroy me on the hills, but I'd been doing a hell of a lot of hill work in Reno. Not reps, just running up big mountains. You know, it made a huge difference. I'm from the flatlands of Lincolnshire. So, yeah, getting onto the big mountains, big improvements. I actually had some thighs. You try saying that when your nose is frozen. Some thighs. I'm just playing with you. So yeah, it was raining, it was muddy, it was hilly. I was in fabulous shape. I won it. End of story. That's all she wrote. I'm not going to tell you any more. Or I might, if I can think of something. Just come out. So across the finish line, yeah, fingers in the air, salute. I had long hair back then as well, flowing in the wind and the rain, you know. I'm going to say it looked fabulous, but I'll be pushing it a bit, I think. Crossed the line, got interviewed. First time ever, I think. Kenny Moore from Sports Illustrated. Kenny had a fantastic background in athletics, you know, Olympian, top marathon runner, top American athlete, full stop. And he had a pretty good scoop that day, I think. Because I was a bit high, possibly, at the end of that race. You know, said things that some people might have regretted saying, but I don't give a damn. You come up with something interesting to say that people still talk about 20, 30, 40 years later. You know, you think, hey, That was good. Got it right. Don't be boring. Be yourself. Yeah, it's a lot more fun. You don't have to be dull. You know, if you're a total rookie, no one's ever heard of you, no one's got control of you, you can say what you damn like. Enjoy it. Why not? So, after the race, once I finally got my wet clothes back on, got into a minivan. Don't know how we managed to get this thing, I don't know, maybe Domingo. In the back of the van was a pretty good runner, a guy called Henry Royle. He only had 4 world records at the time, you know, 3,000 flat, 3,000 steeplechase, 5,000, 10,000 meters. The guy was, you know, how can I say it without saying F? He was awesome. And I think I managed to get a copy of the program and get his autograph. It's the only one I've ever got. Henry Royle. Yeah. Got to meet him a few times over the years as well. So, a great pleasure and an honour. You know, he is, without a doubt, the greatest distance runner ever, bar none. That includes the Ethiopians. You think, I know more. Say no more. You know, even though I just won probably the biggest race of my life, I never got the trophy. Got distracted. Has anybody got it anywhere? Send it to me. Stick it in the mail. I'll give you my address. But no, I never got it. But anyway, it's too late now. Doesn't matter. Winning's the important thing. It's not about the trophies. It's about kicking everyone's butt, isn't it? And getting in the papers. After the race, I was approached by some strange fella. Will you do my race for me? Who are you? What do you want? What's going on here? No one ever asked me to do a race before. A guy called Aino Romponen. The first Finn I'd ever met. Finns came to play a huge part in my life, starting about 6 or 7 months later, and continue to this day. Talk more about that later, not today. But he asked me to do his race, the last Severan Invitational, 20k, out near Malibu somewhere. I thought, yeah, why not, you know? Make the most of it. So that was my next race. That was just before Christmas. That was December 20th. It was off-road as well. Dirt trails. Up some canyon or other. Over a hill and down another canyon. Turned out to be very enjoyable. Somebody actually paid me to go somewhere, you know, paid for my tickets and things like that. It was nice. It was a first. So yeah. First 3 miles, nice and steady, with Domingo, John Sinclair. John Sinclair had been the American cross-country champion the year before me. I think there's some other top guys in there. I'm not sure if Gary Tuttle was there or not. Can't remember without looking up the results. But I think Gary was the only other guy to go sub 60 on that course like me. After 3 miles, I took off. I don't know, just felt a bit slow. So 20k after running, you know, much shorter races, that speed felt slow, and I just took off. And I didn't look back. It was beautiful. Those first 3 or 4 miles, absolutely gorgeous. You know, wound around through some woodland, and then it went uphill, reached the top of the hill, and I booted it on the way down. I think I did something like 4:06 for that next mile, and just carried on. My feet were killing me. They always were. They didn't like long races. It was gravel. I just carried on booting it, completely on my own by a long, long way. Crossed the line, 58.38. Phenomenal time, but considering. I think it might have been the fastest time in the world, or maybe Seiko had run faster, but he did it on road. But, quite enjoyed that. Got to have a chat with singer, songwriter, actor Chris Christopherson after the race. He was coached by Eno. Fine, introduction to the jet set life in Hollywood. Eno was a sculptor. Very artistic guy. He had a house up in the hills above Malibu somewhere, and lots of sculptures around his gardens. He was different, very different. And as I said, my first Finnish person. Hung around there for a couple of days. It was fun. Got to meet a few people. Then it was off to Las Vegas. I needed somewhere to stay for a couple of weeks. University was closed down, so I stayed with the training partner, Pat Maguire. His family lived in Las Vegas, so it was a week there. We went off to the Grand Canyon, and then it was a very long bus ride across Nevada. It's about 430 miles from Las Vegas to Reno. Very interesting, through Indian reservations, past the nuclear testing site, bomb storage sites as well. It's fascinating. Back to Reno, and then it was off to Portola in the Sierra Nevadas for a week. And there was a lot of snow. A hell of a lot of snow. That winter, 81, 82, turned out to be the snowiest on record in the Sierras. 20 metres of it. Fortunately, Reno is in a rain shadow, doesn't get much. But it was phenomenal. Anyway, that is the end of 1981. I did meant to do a summary of the year. I forgot. It's down here at the bottom of this sheet, and staring me in the face, and I forgot. Anyway, total for the year: 4,341 miles. Give or take. There was no Strava in those days, no GPS. Weekly average was about 83. I did 12 weeks of 100 miles plus. 19 races for the year, which is not a lot really, is it? Consistency was fantastic, second half of the year especially. 5 in the morning, 10 in the afternoon, or swap it around depending if I was working in the summer or not. Long Sunday morning runs, 19, 20 miles. Reno really was an absolutely fabulous place to run. Once you get out of the town, there was just trail after trail after trail in the desert. We'll get higher up into the Sierra Nevadas. Oh, absolutely the best place I've ever run in my life. Hundreds of miles of trails. Just get off road. You never know what you see either. I had golden eagles in my back garden at some time or other, and there'd be deer, coyotes, ground squirrels, marmots, lots of other good stuff. The odd rattlesnake. I jumped over one once. It was sunbathing on a track, all spread out, and by the time I jumped over it, it coiled up ready to strike, and that was one big mama of a rattlesnake. Well, fabulous, loved it. Guys I was running with didn't think the same, but I love my wildlife, as you know. So what else happened that year? I hardly missed a day's training. I think maybe 9 days, and that was probably down to travelling mostly, I think. What else have we got down here? A couple of the training brains gone. A couple of the regular training sessions we did with Domingo. Seriously intense, by the way. They were mega training sessions. We didn't muck about. Down at the south side of Reno, it's Virginia Lake. It's about a mile around, something like that, maybe a little bit more. And we just hammer it around there. Four laps, 4 times 1 lap. Really pushing it. That was a regular one. And another one we did was out on the roads, some big hills out around the northwest side of Reno. We did 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 minutes, and you get half that time recovery. And that was not a muck about training session. That was intense. You know, Domingo's a sub 28 guy, and I was later on. So you'd have enjoyed that. Brutal. And I wasn't taking any prisoners. Oh, right. I think that's it. This is probably going to turn out to be yet another very long video. I was planning on getting it down to 15 minutes because it was only 1 year, but it's probably another half-hour job. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've only got 2 more to do, 1982 and 1983. 82 was another good year, and 83 was for the first 9 months or so. So anyway, I'm frozen as usual. Oh, bye folks. What should I say? Salute. Don't you all start doing that at races to me. Say it, bye.